Hope everybody had a great weekend. Continuing on with Fergie Confidential, the real story. You can pick this up at your local library, bookstore, help them stay employed like myself, or go online at barnesandnobles.com. They would steer you in the right direction. Amazing place. You don't just watch this on You Got Mail, Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks. Amazing movie, favorite of mine. That I watch often in my collection for a bachelor dad. Out of many other movies, westerns, and all kinds of stuff. Being to Playboy magazine, Sports Illustrated, NASCAR, ESPN radio. I enjoy NASA watching and sci-fi. Carrying on other than cooking. Carrying on to where I left off last week. Hopefully you didn't get lost. In translations of Harry Potter. Don't fall off your treadmill. Some of you are working out at the gym and trying to listen at the same time. It's not what Care Bear wanted. Pay attention. Okay. And make them a logo warning, North Star, New South Wales. What you're doing, of course. Have become engaged to Jane, daughter of Major Ronald Ferguson of Dummer Down, House Hampshire of Sonora Right, Dearborn, Texas, of Trinity Lake One, Argentina. Delighted for her sister, but somebody who speaks French as much as anything else. Sarah was a bridesmaid like myself, who can speak. There are several languages under God. When Jane and carrying on reading this. Sarah was a bridesmaid when Jane and Alice were married in All Saints Parish Church in Delaware on 26 July 1976. Alice was 24 and Jane was still 18. Interesting. Miss Redhead. By previous arrangement, Sarah caught the bride's bouquet. Did that human transport of yours swallow another bird yet? And there is one better way to have it rounded over here. Have to keep you for a couple months. And that be the talk of the town. Well, now engaged to Sue Depp for whatever invite that would be, huh? Give you something to do. Organize the wedding, breakfast, and more care on the farmhouse lawn other than bird watching. My bad. With Susie and Hector in attendance extraordinary influences, one of the wedding pictures at least, and against as one big happy family. Ronald and Hector had sorted out their indifferences in the most appropriate place. The polo pitch Hector handicapped. Stephen had turned out for the Lord best his tears, piss water, opposing him but over 4 positions. Was Major Ron had got 5. I'll say that 5 times backwards. That game ended in honorable draw. Major Ron had got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Paying attention? Okay. It was slightly different for the two Susans, no matter how hard she tried. Sue felt she was being compared with her predecessor. The glamorous Susie, as she and Ronald had delayed their own wedding, she felt slightly uneasy about her position. To credit, though she never thought of coming between Ronald and his daughters, she never tried to turn them against their mother. For that, Susie was deeply grateful. Sarah was pleased with just about everything. I'm so happy for you, big brother. She told Alice, I know you and Jane are going to be really happy. As you can see, a certain pet of a bird-friendly, flying little animal takes a liking to this door. You can hear her chirp, 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 chirp. She makes an amazing 4 o'clock alarm. She doesn't miss a beat. As beautiful as her music is out there, sometimes she'll come to the window. Sarah left Huss Lodge with more than happy memories of swimming nude in the pool at midnight and examining the list of eligible males of her own age. Prince Andrew amongst them. She passed 6 levels in art, English language, English literature, geography, maths, and biology. Still, however, did not have a boyfriend, and it played on her mind. Compared with the slim, beautiful Jane, Sarah at 16 was still plump, but she was learning that personality counted as much as looks. Well, nearly as much as newlyweds heads back to Australia. Sarah made plans of her own to visit her mother in Argentina for the first time. 300 miles southwest of Buenos Aires was the location they had chosen to start breeding his polo pony herd in preparation. In the round she planned to build 60 miles away on the Pampas. He and Susie already have 4 stallions. 24 mares and foals and 34 ponies. Hector was behind parcels of richly fertile land for what would become El Pucora Indian for fortress. Though he had promised Susie at the end of Susie had her hair bleached blonde by the Argentine sun was thriving. Any misgivings Sarah might have been her mother's happiness soon disappeared. She spent 6 months with the couple and managed to write off some of the puppy fat that made her adolescence so miserable. She and Hector talked for hours. They confided in each other a lot to Susie. Hector was a round person. It was well read and had a great common sense and optimistic view of reality. He knew how to communicate with people. Like Jane in the Outback, Sarah showed a willingness to help out with the chores. The Gotcha Wolf. This was an agree her ample figure as she galloped across the prairie or bumped into town next truck. Did a lot to boost her self-confidence. She was in the mood to celebrate when she knew she reached the ranch that the Ronald had married Sue to Alcia, registrar's office. Not without testing his new bride's patience to the limit, Ronald admitted the broken home Susie had left behind. It was not a place Sarah could return to confident of finding a lovely welcome. She could no longer need to say, I wish mine was here. Sue now secured her in marriage, took a great satisfaction in presenting her husband with his first Andrew born on 7 September 1978. Sarah moved to London this year before studying shorthand typing and bookkeeping at the Queen's Secretary College, South Kensington. For 9 months, it was the same route her mother had taken, and her priorities were exactly the same. The social world, the Queen's Silver Jubilee. Interesting. Which culminated in Her Majesty and the Duke and Queen's Silver Jubilee year, which culminated in Her Majesty and the Duke of Edinburgh riding the carriage down the mall to the Thanksgiving service at St. Paul's, provided far more skill than the atrocities of secretarial know-how. We were both dunces at shorthand and typing, says Charlotte, ever daughter of former Tory MP Lord Edna Whitney Canterbury, who became a good friend. We used to sit at the back of the class and giggle. Then there was a serious side to the girls' friendship like Sarah. Charlotte's mother and father were divorced in 1974, and consequently her father also embarking on his second marriage. Fergie is very intelligent, but like me, she was never cut out to be secretary, said Charlotte. We were at the college because we knew it. It was important to get some sort of training. We both managed to scrape through the course. So much is talked about Sloan. Range. Sloan's Rangers. But we were practical knew we had to become working girls. Money was very tight. Fergie was much like to be rushing to a corner cafe for a takeaway hamburger than sipping champagne. Her assessment card did not hop on her low position at the bottom of the class with Charlotte. Bright, bouncy redhead, a bit slapdash, but she knew that she had an eyelash personality which she well used to her advantage when she gets older, accept responsibility happily. Yet Sarah still confided her deepest thoughts to Jane 12,000 miles away in the outback, and in one letter even asked, "What's the point of going on?" But she was not a depressed and her mood picked up enormously once she started going out with her first serious boyfriend, Kim Smith Bingham. Interesting. 6 foot tall and 2 years old and more worldly wise. They had met briefly when Sarah visited Argentina, where Kim was working on a ranch before starting a job in the city. But it was Kim's sister Laura who brought them together. Back in London, they hit it off and soon became an eye amongst their chosen friends. Sarah invited him home to Drummondale Farm to meet Ronald's 2.5 brother Andrew. Towards Kim started a loyalty relationship will follow her into the married life. She was in one moment from the start as the well-placed royal source when she fell in love. She felt very deeply and wasn't unfaithful. Kim saw things differently. We were too young for people to have thought of us. Long-term people said it was time to rewind the video. Ronald must have picked up this hesitance from the beginning because she was soon urging Sarah to accompany him on a visit to see Jane and Alex in Australia. It was an experience Sarah would remember for years. And not all that finally when the time came to cut off her big brother. If Sarah found her mother's new lifestyle amongst the Spanish speaking Argentina as a child, but this concerning change chose no legal warning were positively primitive like all Bushmen. Alex had loved to yarn to Sarah about his rough and ready life in the back of the gun, the childhood safety of rural Hampshire. It had sounded quietly romantic, but even Jane's descriptive letters had not fully prepared her for what she was now seeing for herself. The reality was difficult to take in. It was run down, L-shaped house, just a wooden shack with a patio, and nets to keep out the flies, said Poppy Smith, who later worked there. There were 4 bedrooms, and the 2 house bedrooms and the house was finished with planks, wood cupboards, tables, and chairs. There were just a few family members, pictures on the walls, and a cabinet full of old trophies. The only carpet was in the living room, and that was threadbare. There was no air conditioner to take the sting out of the heat. Just enough the hot water to draw 2 baths, and the toilet was outdoors. Studying which attracted the snakes Sarah dreaded, there was a hole in the wall of the house where Alex had blasted an intruding black snake with a shotgun. Ronald was thankful to find that few luxuries, including a television set and a video recorder. He found reruns of the 2 Ronnies, even in a black and white welcome diversion from the money of farm life. Break my neck to get into town just to post a letter, said Sarah. In typical outback style, every day began at 6 a.m. with bacon, sausages, and eggs. Lunch of cold lamb followed at noon and dinner of roast lamb. Roast pumpkin and roast potato was finished by 9 p.m. Sarah wondered how Jane could bear such a lonely existence. The sisters sometimes rode out through the fields of green young wheat to meet Alex for smoko, the traditional bushman's break from work when someone's boiling a blackened billy of the Berkshire biscuits into a iron and cake and scones are not considered too fancy for bugs to eat. Kangaroos screamed away. Jane, it seemed that the visitors was happy. She had settled down to meet life and was looking forward to raising a family. The big event during Sarah's stay was Jane's 21st birthday party, which the family celebrated with an open house party. 300 people turned up, some homesteads hundreds of miles away to crack a few times with James Polish. Relics from England, the nearest town. North Star was 20 miles distant. In Goodwindy, the nearest big town, even further across the border in Queensland, but it was worth the effort to meet a genuine dinky-dee English officer who knew the Queen Royal did not disappoint them. He played some bone-crunching games of polo with locals at the Emperor North Star Polo Club on their rock hard pitch. When Sarah eventually left Willow warning for Sydney on her way home, she was asked to write something in the visitor's book. She scribbled a pretty fair Dingadum, which translates as room for improvement. Back in London, Sarah looked for work and spent 3 weeks in the office of flatmate for limited incompetence, sharing agency and appropriate kangaroo values. Earl Courts was known then despite St. Trinian style introduction. She landed her first steady job with Durden Smith Communications. She was a complete contrast to the well-agreement applications, but she also was also keen. We took her on. Sitting down with it, she drew the line on her small boots, blouse up with safety pins. The upmarket public relations outfit was situated at the very epicenter of the Sloane Ranger Green Kingdom area was one way, and Harvey next the other. Her salary was $4,000 and she could afford to buy clothes in excess. She really wanted went out in denim and the king, and skirts and jackets. Although she sometimes looked completely uncoordinated, and she sailed along Sloane Street on her bicycle. She didn't really care what she looked like, yeah, but she did get it together. She was stunning, said Kristen Dunn, who became Sarah's friend, although she was several years old. Even though she was a big built girl who looked striking when she dressed up for a party. One of Sarah's personal trademarks made it first appearance. She would put on her hair in a big black bow, said Christina. She looked real soft, really soft. Their boss, Neil Durden Smith, was the urban husband of Judith Chalmers, the television presenter, and his accountant could BMW, Trust House, Forte, and Garage. The royal jeweler, she rose from a secretary to assistant to Peter Cunard, one of the senior account executives. She adored the work, which involved carrying the corporate message of her clients to as many people as she could at a reception. Presents. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. At probably Canada Valley, as Earl Court was known, but despite St. Trinian style she landed her first steady job with Durden Smith Communications. She was a complete contrast to other well-groomed applications, but she was too keen. We took her to said Neil Durden Smith, who drew the line at her doing blouses up with a safety pin. This upmarket public relations outfit was situated at the very epicenter of the Sloane Ranger Kingdom. Her salary was $4,000 again. She could afford to buy the clothes and they said she really wanted. Out went country during the man came some shirts, skirts, and jackets, although she sometimes looked completely uncoordinated as she sailed along Sloane Street on her bicycle. She didn't really care what she looked like. You know what? She didn't get it together. She was stunning, said Christina Dunn, who became Sarah's friend. Although she was severely years older, even though she was a big built girl, she would look striking when she dressed up for a long party. One of Sarah's personal trademarks made her first appearance. She would put her hair in a big black bow, said Christina. She looked really supple. Their boss, Neil Smith, was in the urban husband of Judith Chalmers, the television presenter, and his accounts include BMW, Trust House Forte, and Gerard. The Royal Jeweler, she rose from his secretary assistant to Peter Kennard, one of the senior accountant executives. Who became Sarah's friend, although she was several years older. She was a big built girl who looked striking when she dressed up for a party. One of Sarah's personal trademarks made its first appearance. She would pull her hair in a big black bow secrecy, and she looked really super. Their boss, Neil Smith, was on the Urban Husbands of Judith Chalmers, the television presenter. And his accountants include BMW, Trust House Forte, and Gara, the Royal Julia rose from his secretary to assistant Peter Goddard, and one of senior accounting executives doing the work which involved carrying the corporate message of our clients to as many people as she could have such a presentation. She made friends with television celebrities Sue Lawley, Angela Rippon, Cliff Mitchell, and David Jacobs, who was lively hours. And the staff liked to enjoy themselves in less formal setting of local wine bars and bistros. We used to go to the Basil Street wine bar next door. That was our drinking haunt, recalled Christina. Sarah liked to drink wine by the bucket. I can't remember if it was white or red, and don't think she cared as long as it was wine. For food, we used to the stock bar, and we lived in Harvey Nichols and sometimes shopped at H.A. Ross. We were all members of the Patriot Club. In the Basil Street Hotel was for ladies only, and you could leave your shopping there. It got this name because one of the waiters or doorsmen had a pet part. Every time one of those frankly grand old ladies walked past it would say, "Go on, give us a bit." We used to pop in there. The office was expanding, and it was a typical of Sarah that she recommended Charlotte Eden, her fellow dons from Secretary College, former job Claire Johnson, daughter of BBC Radio. Cricket commentator Brian Johnson was one of the bright young things on the staff, as Kristen put it. Anyone who wasn't anyone was there, my dear. It was a fantastic atmosphere. Once a month we would have done a buck fizz and coincidence in the office and go through who was doing what was discussed in the eyes we could come up with. I used to make sure all the girls were on time. Some of them would come in late after being on the tube the night before, so it was very good. She would come in on time, she didn't gossip, and she would never really complain. On occasion, she would come in to me and say, "God, I need a fudge cake, bloody fed up," but she rarely let anyone get her down. One thing that annoyed some of the things Graw's office was a memorable person called Sarah received from friends eager to arrange a notorious night after a signature. She was politely ticked off, and the call stopped. Some of it from Lady Diane Spencer, whom Sarah had been bumped into regularly when she motored down to Polo in her blue VW at weekends. They first met at Susie and Hector's home near Codger Park after Polo watched Charles and Diane dropped in. Sarah was visiting. From the two young women started talking. The friendship had developed from their Diane, who was 19 and worked at kindergarten. Pamela wanted to talk about her none too smooth relationship with Prince Charles, and Sarah she found a confidant who would listen to patiently in her problems and give her the benefit of her advice. The young woman would meet for shopping exemptions, expeditions, or harmonies, and discuss tactics for landing the biggest catch around lower coffee in the cafeteria. The girl talked in night spreads as the decade came to a close, confirmed. Next, discuss tasks for landing the biggest catch in the realm of coffee in the cafeteria. The girl talked in night spreads as the cake came to confirm Diane as the most influential friend Sarah ever made. Her intervention in Sarah's life had only just begun. Sarah thrived on her experience at Smith Communications. Experiences with communications about but PR was a cutthroat business between its transparency and inability, and she learned some important lessons. Kim Smith had moved to Babbage, working in his ski store when Duncan Smith told her he was selling his company. Sarah decided it was time to move on. She was already planning to spend Christmas with her mother in South America. And when Sarah asked her, Charlotte jumped at the chance to join the backpack grand tour. The two friends spent hours poring over maps to plot the most interesting, cheapest route, and they set off the autumn of 1980 after Ronald and Sue hosted a cocktail party. At the Beakley Hotel to celebrate Sarah's 21st birthday, Shopwood glasses clinked as guests drank. A toast to Sarah and wished her a happy birthday and bon voyage. She cried tears of sadness at leaving her workmates behind, but the exciting prospects ahead filled her with joy, and she did not bother to contain travel and distance meant the freedom. Her philosophy of taking a life as it came and making the most it was already firm and ingrained. El Perica now exists as more than name alone. Susie and Hector had cleared some of the land and planted safely, which growing fast in this rich soil. We worked like mules, Susie recalls. It was a real big fight. For 5 quarters, a prefabricated wooden chalet had been built as a forerunner to the grand ranch house that would one day stand there. Sarah and Charles, Sarah called her friend, enjoyed a traditional English Christmas dinner. There was all the trimmings despite the vast distance from home. In fact, the only link with the outside world and the high point of the festival season was a radio phone call from Chinatown Farm. Said that Sue has given birth to her first daughter. Alice, she asked Sarah to be godmother. As the new year got underway, the girls shouldered their rucksacks and headed north, while Buzz, sleeping through rough and living on the burgers on free top-offs, the roadside cantinas on a long journey to the top of the Argentine spur that juts in Paraguay and Brazil. Here they marveled at the Iguazu Falls, one of the most spectacular sights in South America. Next step, Rio de Janeiro. The roads were bumpy and the buses were old, said Charlotte. We shared our journey with farmers and chickens, roughing it with very little money. We stayed for days in the bus. Those buses traveling thousands of miles without even being able to change our clothes. Outside Rio, the girls looked almost deserted, and we ran out of money in the middle of nowhere. Charlotte recalled we simply sat there in our bags, sleeping and waiting for the next bus to come along. I wouldn't do it today. It's still far too dangerous. Safely in Rio, the girls welcomed our back. Clean clothes and comfortable beds at the home friends of the Ferguson family. Copacabana, the golden beach of Nova, fame lost some of its allure when they saw the city crippling poverty, homeless urchins who had turned to drugs, and crime roaming the streets, one step ahead of the death squads who hunted them for a diamond. They were glad to fly out Rio for the United States, where they took a ground bus to the ski resort of Squaba, overlooking Lake Tahoe in the Rockies. After working as childminders and cleaners in the family chalets in the season ended, Sarah and Charlotte flew to Florida to meet up against with Susie and Hector, who was in great demand. As a player at the Palm Beach Polo Cup, Sarah was in the considerable pain from a skiing accident, but she had damaged an ankle and she needed rest. At the final, the girls journeyed to New Orleans and knew to energize on Bourbon Street in the French Quarter. All alone, Sarah knew it was time to go home. She had been away 6 months. Not only was she missing her father, who listened with some consternation when she regaled him with her adventures, but she was also missing out the biggest royal evening for absolutely all. So on 5th February 1981, Prince Charles had formally proposed to the late Diana Spencer in his Blue City room at Buckingham Buckingham Palace. 19 days later, their engagement was announced. Diana Powell from Pole was to be Prince of Wales. There, Bond Vimmons. What do you do about your wife? Diana had been so sure she was destined to marry Prince Andrew that she kept her photograph beside her bed when she attended bed to Alphonse Vandermont, Newcastle in Switzerland, 1978. I've saved myself for Prince Andrew, she told more than one person who inquired about her romantic interest in the dashing young man with the open top downway smile. Sarah, in complete contrast, became a star pupil at what toddlers called McNally's exclusive Swiss finishing school, a La Chalet at Burby and a Chalet of Monticelli. In Switzerland, where inferior soil of Scotland, as one 19th century child put it, Burby in the 19th was a poor relation of more calamitous Augustine on St. Moritz. Diane's one term finishing school did little more than improve her immediate French, and skiing Sarah learned much more. Sarah country different curriculum. It was a holiday home with Grand Prix millionaire Patty McNeely, which was called Chelsea on skis. As Sarah completed a very necessary phase of her education, an obstacle close relationship. McNeely had few peers and knowledge of the subject, and by the time Sarah left 3 years later, she had graduated with honors. Sarah contacted Diane in May 1901, soon after returning from her grand tour of the Americas. Charles Bride had moved into the nursery sector of Buckingham Palace to be near him. After a brief stay with the Queen Mothers in Clarence's house, Diane was delightful to have someone who understands the royal family combined. Buckingham Palace, she admitted, overall it hurt, not much because of its size, but over the atmosphere which testified to what really was the Queen's seal of southern power. When Charles was away, she felt cut off. When she was home, he often died alone with the Queen. When she ventured out, her companion was her police bodyguard. Paul observed his constant presence annoyed her. Also, had accompanied Prince Charles on many of his foreign trips, and Di had been less resentful, more receptive. He might have told her the oldest wives' tale. During the Australian tour, Charles was being driven along a pothole outback road way beyond even the most modest outposts of civilization to his hearing aids. He spotted a grill roadmaster toiling in the center plus heat uphill along the unwinding road. Stop here, Charles ordered the driver. I must speak, and those men astonished. The chauffeur pulled to a halt, and Charles on the roadmaster, Jack Allison, was cotton shorts and dusty boots leaned on their big and shovels at the hearts of the front approach. It must be very lonely out here, Charles said to them. What about your wives? What do you do with your wives? Wives, they men. The men looked at each other, puzzled by pronunciation. Then one of them recognized Charles, whispered to the other. In the Prince of Wales, young monks, he wants us to wave to him. So as Foster Charles climbed back into his car. The road gang waved their sweaty straw hats and knotted handkerchiefs as they sped on. Into the distance, where at the nearly early stage time, I thought similar isolation for her husband to be. She was a needy, she craved affection from him. Charles had learned little from his family experience with other men. He could not comfort Diana because he simply did not know how. About a page had how to relate to other people had been misread instructions, man which past courtiers and later he beloved Uncle Dick. The medieval Lord Louis Mountbatten referred to as raising young Charles 3 children before Andrew was born. Charles was enrolled at Hill House International School, Hansclough, Knightsbridge. The infant school had a distinct uniform of knee breeches and matching jackets, but on this very day, Charles, timid and quiet, was the only child to arrive in gray overcoat with a black velvet collar. My father was the chauffeur who drove him to school in the morning, picked up the afternoon, who was raised up the Royal Mews section of Buckingham Palace, and a grill lady in waiting, and Detective were always in the car. One day, Charles, who was 8 years old, had made a little friend, and he asked if the boy could be given a lift to home. He lifted far in the living quarters at the Westminster Abbey. That query said no, no one else was allowed in the car under any circumstances. Those were the rules. Charles had to drive off, leaving his friend behind on the pavement. My father kept a diary and he recorded the incident because it would show how Charles was being brought up. He felt that powers were putting the royal children into the world. In one sense, they were letting Charles go out into the real world, but he didn't have an equal chance. If anything went slightly wrong, he was grabbed back into the old world. Charles didn't understand what was happening, and my father feared it would lead to difficulties in his life because he was neither thing nor the other. Anne was the first girl Charles had to contend with, and she was bullied him terribly. She used to put sticks between his legs to trim them up. Continued the former Muse resident, my father went up to Balmoral Drive to the royal family, and he said that Anne used to lay traps for Charles in the grounds. She was very much the tomboy, a real little girl, very fearless. Charles was very much the passive one. Under the tutelage of the Germanic Lord Mountbatten, Charles learned to bite before he was bitten. His nickname for Diana was Pumpkin, an affectionate, albeit unkind relentless to her plump cheeks. A puppy fat error died more than she let on. She learned for some quiet, witty girl talk to relieve the stress. The sudden dramatic change in her life put her nerves even more on edge on the wedding day approached. Sarah was happy to oblige. The two young women got on so well that Dinah asked Sarah if she would be willing to act as one of her ladies in waiting, and once she was carrying out her duties as principal, Sarah eagerly agreed. Major Ron, although Charles' polo manager, was surprised. You've only known her for the year, he said to his daughter, but Diana was serious. She shortlisted Sarah and recommendation put forward to the Queen. Her choice was vetoed on the grounds that Sarah, at 21, was too young and therefore presumed to be unsuitable for a royal life, even though the Windsor had a stand-off attitude. Toward Sarah, she was let down gently, although greeted Charles with her usual cheerful smiles when she went to Smith Lawn to watch him play in his last polo match at a five-shooter contest between England and the second in Spain. Later in the year, her father was guest at the wedding to July 1981. In St. Paul's Cathedral, when Diana moved into Kensington Glass, was one of the first places to whom she gave her private telephone number. Was there, Diana was clearly determined to keep in touch. Sarah, on domestic arrangements, were more suited to her lowly station. She had moved in with Caroline Beck, with Smith and 4011 Gardens, Chaplain, just across the rivers from Chelsea, but south of Roy, at the Bath, Slowden. From its less fashionable neighbors, Caroline was well connected to her cousin Anne, a solid, reliable woman that had become one of Diana's ladies in waiting in Chelsea. The two young women got on famously from the start. Caroline encouraged Sarah to stick her diet without resorting to any of the unkind digs that usually accompanied such suggestions. She also advised her on the one of the kind of clothes that would make her flat, voluptuous figure. Fashion still was not Sarah's strong point, and because of her fair skin, she preferred a natural, made-up look. She became a much sought-after newcomer on the party scene. The Edward House, which Caroline had bought, provided a perfect sanctuary whenever their social lives became hectic. One of her favorite restaurants was the Pasta Express, friendly tricolor popular with yuppies. Invites arrived at birthday parties, the waiters dashed around banging on fancy tape, recording of happy birthday to you. And one of them, one night, the wooden dining chair Sarah was sitting on a broken some righteous celebration other. The Minutemen shows became famous. The restaurant owner, Mr. Bosdale, took it upstairs to his side and now remained there at cherished possession. Money, however, was always in short supply. Sarah went job hunting in her quest for work led her to the Times, whose new property with Rupert Murdoch. Through its call, she found William Drummond, an art dealer based in Covent Garden, who had advertised for secretary assistant Sarah. Obstacles more, that's intact provide the art nation. Backup Drummond needed for his loan for his establishing consecutive world buying and selling paintings. Drummond, one of criticism of her was that she spent a lot of her time on the telephone. I'm going to stop there. Eventually came out from that she was a friend of the Princess of Wales, and I suddenly realized that many of the phone calls she had were from her. He said Diana, who was expecting Prince William, was weak from morning sickness and close proximity for courtiers, had worn her down and it eroded her self-confidence, according to a highly placed royal source. It needs to recharge. Being a single dad here at my big old bachelor pad. The least I can do is watch my health and pray for y'all. All those around me. Also, to write Care Bear, catch the address 328 Helm Street is my postal address. The only address I'm using, I'm in charge of. And, express directed to Elizabethtown, Kentucky, 42701. Thank you, here in my home, my big old house. Care Bear cares about everybody, you damsels, darlings, breast cancer awareness, all kinds of organizations I support, care about, think about day and night, not just country singers, keeping everybody in my prayers. Dolly Parton, good listener of mine. Everybody else, all over the world, military installations, I get around, even in prayers. Just when you're asleep, I'm praying with you. God bless you. Everybody else around the world, much love. Watch your health. Stay tuned.